Assalamu alaikum, friends, and welcome to a Muslim Mum podcast. Inshallah, I hope you are well. My name is Farhat Amin. I'm your host. If you've just stumbled across my podcast, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I live in the UK. I'm a mum. I've also been a high school teacher. And I have my own website. It's called farhatamin.com. And the whole purpose of my website and this podcast is to help you raise strong, happy, confident Muslim children. All the products and books I've designed have all been for that purpose. And the reason I started the podcast was I just wanted to share any good advice I have based on books I've read, talks I've gone to. I blog a lot on, you can go and see it on my website. So inshallah, I hope this is useful to you. The advice I give is useful. And you can always subscribe to me via any of the channels that you're listening on. And I love hearing back from you guys. I do get emails sometimes. I know it's a bit of a pain being able, I wish that, on podcasts you could just send messages to each other, but unfortunately you can't. So if you want to send me an email, it's info@farhatamin.com. I would genuinely love your feedback. So what am I talking about today? Now, I wasn't going to talk about this topic, which is Kamala Khan. Have you heard of her? I only recently heard about her again yesterday. I got an email about, I subscribed to some Muslim website and they had an article about her. And basically, if you don't know who she is a character created by Marvel Comics. And what it is, she's an American. She was created by, there's a couple of people, Sana Amanat, Stephen Wacker, G.W. Wheeler Wilson. And so Kamala is a Muslim American teenager growing up in Jersey City. She gains shape-shifting powers when a strange Tarragon mist descended upon the city, awaking her inhumane genes. She is a 16-year-old teenager. Kamala Khan, now this is the interesting bit. Kamala Khan is a Pakistani American born in Jersey City, the daughter of Yusuf Khan and Muniba Khan. Her parents are originally from Karachi. Yeah, so are mine, but that's by the by. But that's what made me interested, that hold on, here we have Marvel Comics have created a Muslim superhero, who lives in America. And the thing is, if you have a look at her, if you go online and search her up, and you'll see what she's wearing and what she looks like. I will let you, we'll talk about it in a bit more. But basically, it's a tight-fitting outfit. She's wearing tight-fitting leggings. In the drawing, I'm just describing what I'm seeing. Her bust may be covered, but it's very visible. But generally, the clothes are very tight. She's like, you could say, like Wonder Woman, but in modest fashion. Yeah, that would be one way of describing her. So I thought, hold on, why are they doing this? Because the announcement they made recently is that, it was a comic initially, and now they're going to give her own TV series on Disney Plus. Now, straight away, I thought, why? Yeah, why would they do that? And then I wanted to know, well, what kind of this means so young, there's going to be Muslim and non-Muslim kids. They're going to be watching her. They're going to get a certain impression of Muslim, because it's revolves around her and her family and her relationship with her family. And then there's the superhero stuff. And I thought, so they will be having an opinion on Muslim families, on Muslim culture. And, that interests me, because that's quite my series. This series of my podcast is exploring the relationship between Muslim children and their parents, and how do we build that. So here's a program which will be having an opinion and giving a cut view to the whole world, because this is Disney Plus. Yeah. So that's why I thought straight away, okay, I need to research, find out who is she, what type of character will she be, what has the reaction to her been so far amongst the Muslims, and is it a problem, or is it okay? It's a good thing, yeah. We've got a Muslim superhero. How can that be a bad thing? Right. So when Marvel first unveiled Kamala Khan, she was met with widespread positive reactions online. Fatemeh Fakhraie, the founder of Muslimah Media Watch, a diversity advocacy group, told Al Jazeera America that here's the quote, she is going to be a window into the American Muslim experience, and that she normalizes this idea of the American experience as a Muslim. By the way, I've got the blog article that goes with this, so all links are there. You can go and check it out for yourself. So now this type of optimistic reaction occurs because it is when the initial knee-jerk reaction is Muslims think, oh, this is a good thing. Now it's because there's a Muslim character being positively represented in mainstream media, because we know how much negative publicity there is. Everyone knows that. So here's a positive one, supposedly. Now the question here is, whilst women tend to feature more in media than male, Muslim men, this phenomenon is not limited to one demographic. Throughout modern history, many minority groups have sought prominent positions of leadership or fame to increase their influence and acquire acceptance. It is based on the idea that Muslims, especially visible Muslim women, are encouraged to speak out and embrace platforms that will let them be seen by millions as normal people to diffuse hatred and fear. That's the thinking behind it, that we need to show that we are normal. We are, we're just like you. We are relatable. And then if we do that, people won't hate us. They won't hate Islam. That's the thinking. So that's the idea. Now, this was my question. Why has Marvel created a Muslim female superhero now? Yeah, I think that's quite a good question. Now, in her TED Talk, Amanat, one of the creators of this character, stated that the big idea behind Miss Marvel was very much about minority representation. The bigger idea was about finding your authentic self. While creating the comic, she drew on her experience as the child of Pakistani immigrants in the New Jersey suburbs, in hopes that the next generation will not experience identity rejection as she did, through a relatable superhero. Numerous young and ethnic letter writers were excited to see Kamala Khan, who looked like them and came from a similar background. Okay, so now I don't doubt Amanat's intentions at all. No one can do that to anyone. You can't judge someone's intentions. However, Marvel is in the business of making money. Okay, they made $5 billion in 2019. $5 billion. That's through, the Avengers, the Endgame movie, all of the whole Avengers franchise, Ant-Man, you name it, all of them. They are, mega rich. Now they are constantly looking for new untapped audiences to exploit, not represent. Yeah, it's the bottom dollar they're interested in. Talk of minority representation and authentic self is perfect PR for Marvel. They understand how lucrative it is for them globally to tap into all ethnic and cultural markets. You could say that, is the Western European superhero, is that market saturated? I think it is. Yeah, you've got DC Comics as well, but you've got the whole. Let's just, in 2018, they saw the success of making a movie with a black superhero. In 2018, Black Panther became the top grossing superhero film of all time in the US. Yeah. So Now they want to see if they can cash in on the Muslim pound, or the Muslim dollar, by creating relatable Asian, Pakistani, brown Muslim superhero. It makes sense. That argument makes sense to me. That it's not. Let's not be naive. Let's always dig deeper behind the sound bites of, a minority representation, being authentically yourself. They want to make money. They now see we can make money if we can tap into this, this Asian. It's this whole idea of a relatable superhero, a superhero that looks brown like me. Then brown kids will go and watch it. Brown parents will then say, "Oh, look, that's good." They won't feel so like they're such a minority. They will feel some kind of link here. Yeah, and then let's think of all the merchandising that they can then sell to Asian parents and Asian children, the dolls, the clothes, the outfits, you name it. They can, we all know this, we're all intelligent. So here's another question. How authentically Muslim is Kamala Khan? Yeah. Now I'm going to say to you, come onto my blog and see the images, the drawings of her. This is everything I found online. I found plenty of images showing this is what's in the comics, this is the content, this is the storyline. So let's see what kind of a Muslim is Kamala Khan. Yeah. Now, how does creating a secular, sexualized, bikini-clad superhero who behaves just like an average non-Muslim American teenager honestly represent Muslims? That's what I want to know as a mum. So does Kamala have a love interest? Now, I'm going to read out a bit of a long quote from one of the comics. One day at dinner, Kamala's family informed her that they were getting guests, some of their oldest friends in the United States, who had a son close to Kamala's age, named Kamran. Though reluctant at first, Kamala quickly changed her tune when she learned she and Kamran had many common interests, not to mention how attractive he was. Kamran and Kamala went to Newark Avenue together, supervised by Amir, that's her older brother, where they continued to bond. This was cut short, however, when they came face to face with Kaboom, a radical, inhuman terrorist and member of an organization seeking to overthrow Queen Medusa and affirm their perceived superiority over humanity. And there's images of Kamala kissing a guy. There's other ones where she's talking to guys and, kind of eyes where they go big. As if, oh my God, isn't he amazing? So yes, she does have a love interest. Now, she is not an Islamic extremist. This is made clearly in the magazine, in the comic. Another quote: "In a heartbeat, Kamala could not help but be reminded of the Islamic extremists constantly on the news. Once again, some group felt entitled to destroy the lives of anyone who disagreed with them, and anyone the public can associate with that group suffers. The next day, Kamran offered to drive Kamala to school, despite protests from Amir and Bruno, the latter of whom secretly harbored feelings for Kamala." So you get the gist. So just think, imagine your daughter reading this comic. How is this going to affect her? She's now seeing a Muslim girl with a similar name to her, looks like her, whose parents are like hers, having, she's kissing a guy, she's having crushes on guys are having crushes on her. It just normalizes the kind of relationships that in Islam are forbidden. But that's what this comic is doing. Okay, does Kamala listen to her parents? Short answer, no. Her brother Amir is depicted as a lazy religious man. His parents wish he would concentrate on getting a job. He restricts Kamala's freedom and is just another cliched stereotype of a Muslim man. Now, it's interesting. Dr. Leon Musavi of the University of Liverpool feels that the character's family would reinforce the stereotype of restrictive Muslim parents, and that her shape-shifting ability resembled several anti-Muslim stereotypes, especially taqiyya, a legal dispensation whereby a believing individual can deny his faith or commit otherwise illegal or blasphemous acts while they are at risk of significant prosecution. So it's interesting, as a non-Muslim guy, he could see, and if you see the way that the parents are spoken about, they're strict, they're unreasonable, they're not liberal, they just don't understand Kamala. And again, you think they're brainwashing, and it is, call a spade, they're brainwashing young teenage Muslim girls to think, oh, you can rebel against your parents. They just don't understand, just like the way non-Muslim kids think. So who are Miss Marvel's let me tell you, Kamala Khan then becomes the new Miss Marvel. Anyone who knows about Marvel comics will know that. But so the names are interchangeable. So who does she get praise from in in society? Now, there's a website called Muslim Girl. It's an American website. Again, there's a link on my blog, and you should check it out for yourself. Basically, this website is a feminist, liberal, pro-LGBT website, but it's called Muslim Girl. It's run by Muslims, and it advocates really terrible behavior, really un-Islamic behavior. There will be like sprinklings of Islamic advice in there, but overall, it's I would not be happy if my daughter was going on that site and that's where she was getting her knowledge or her views on Islam from. So on that website, it says, not only is Kamala a positive depiction of American Muslims, but she's funny and charming and tempted to eat bacon, like a lot of girls I know. This is an incredible shift in power. I want to take my child to the theatre so they can see Kamala Khan on screen. I want the chance to point to the on-screen heroine, look at my daughter or son and say, look what we Muslims did. What we Muslim women did. We rose from the ashes of propaganda and generalization. We tore up stereotypes. We became superheroes. So when I read that, I thought, what? Are we? I find that statement really odd and slightly hilarious, actually, that a Muslim can think that becoming for Muslim women to have a superhero is some great achievement. Now this is the argument that I find a problem with representation in mainstream media, that Muslims will get so happy just the fact that we are represented, and it's such a superficial way to look at it, because really, having a superhero that's Muslim, and as I've just described, the character's a nominal Muslim, Muslim in name, really, and having that kind of Muslim being representative of our community, that's the last thing I would want. That's the last kind of person, like last kind of girl that I want my daughter to look up to. And I just think of all the achievements of Muslim women over the hundreds and thousands of years, from Aisha, may Allah be pleased with the narrating the hadith, Khadija, the wife of the Prophet ﷺ, being such a supporter and the first Muslim to embrace Islam. There are so many great Muslim role models. The lady who, I'm forgetting her name, she opened up the first university. There are so many amazing role models. They are our heroes. And I just think we have to be so much more intelligent to think, do we really want to embrace Kamala Khan? Is this someone that we want our children, our girls to think, yeah, I want to be like her, I want to dress up like her on, day that we have dress up on at school. I think I'm just thinking we have to just be so much more intelligent and nuanced in our observations. So who else is praising Kamala Khan? Now, shock horror, Barack Obama is a fan. In March 2016, Sana Amanat introduced United States President Barack Obama at a reception for Women's History Month in the White House. In his opening remarks, Obama replied, "Ms. Marvel may be your comic book creation, but I think for a lot of young boys and girls, Sana's a real superhero." You can see all the links on my blog. Now, Sana Aman, she's one of the people who thought up the idea of Kamala Khan. Now, again, this is so hypocritical of Obama. On the one hand, he's praising the creator of a Pakistani Muslim superhero, and Sana Aman, she's Pakistani as well. But at the very same time, he was ordering the murder of Muslims in Pakistan by drone attacks. Drone strikes. Under his premiership, their presidency, there were more drone attacks and Muslims killed, and many of them in Pakistan, because of his decisions. So, like presidents and Obama, they'll praise Muslims for doing things that agree with their liberal values. And it looks so good, doesn't it? It's just amazing PR. It's like we're so multicultural. We have curry at our receptions. We have iftars at the White House. And oh, look, we have Muslim women who are creating Muslim superheroes. And we think that's fab. And the thing is, we see this and we mustn't be taken in by it. We have to be like, I just keep thinking, we have to keep thinking and critically analysing when these things are given to us. So now just back to the main point I'm making here, that representation, it does not lead to empowerment. That's the conclusion I've come to. Despite being a regularly touted idea, upon scrutiny, it's clear that the idea of Muslim representation in the mainstream media will not lead to empowerment. And additionally, when it comes to Muslim women in particular, there is a clear promotion of a certain segment of this demographic, primarily liberal, secular and feminist, whose profession usually revolves around their appearance or their stereotype-breaking abilities. So like with Kamala Khan, she breaks the stereotypes. She's not passive. She's not quiet. She's strong. She's confident. She can beat up men. That like, wow. So she's someone that we should look up to. Previously I said she's a butt kicker. So now the result, Muslim women that aren't secular, that aren't stereotype breaking, that may be more conservative, more religious, choose to be, observe the rules of Islam, which is what we all strive to do to gain Jannah. Those kind of Muslims, regular people like me and you, we are relegated to the oppressed, submissive label as usual. That's what's then said. And so our teenager girls, they're thinking, I don't want to be labelled as suppressed. I don't want to be labelled as submissive. I'd rather be like, oh, look, Kamala Khan. Now, similarly, role models like Kamala Khan are praised for their behaviour, because she champions American values of liberty, independence from cultural or religious norms, subtle compromises endorsed, and largely tokenizes women with or without their consent. And so, it's like seen as, I think we have to become aware. Hollywood will never, Hollywood, mainstream media will never represent, conservative Muslims in a positive light. Let's only liberal Muslims will be represented in a positive light. Now, with this in mind, let's be honest and call a spade a spade. And what's interesting, I like the fact that I can say this, is no one can accuse me of being judgmental towards a comic character. You know what happens when you start to genuinely, in a sincere way, analyse the behaviour of public figures, Muslim public figures who do things publicly. I'm not talking about anything private. People straight away say, oh, who are you to judge? You can't criticise. You don't know their intention. These are, this is the kind of silence to genuine, honest questions that are asked. But because the good thing is, here's a comic character, so I can say this and no one can say I'm hurting her feelings. So this is the bottom line. Kamala Khan is a role model that secular liberal feminists want our young Muslim girls, That's who they want to emulate. Therefore, Hollywood will never represent devout Muslims in a positive light. We need to educate our kids so that they do not draw their strength from secular Muslim faces in the media or the internet. We need to harness and bolster our strength such that confidence in our Muslim identity is not drawn from being the same as everyone, but from Islam. And I'll end with the hadith. Islam came as strange, and will return as being strange. So blessed are the strangers. That's said by Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So I think, my message to you is that speak to your children. It's good rather to speak to them about, Kamala Khan. Tell them, what do you think? Why is she not such a, do they think she's a good role model? Why do you think she's not a good role model? Don't let your kids watch when it comes on Disney. Just say to them, look, we're not watching this because it's just nonsense. It's like it's very subtle, un-Islamic ideas being given. That's our job as parents. We need to protect our children. Inshallah, you can, like I said before, you can go to my blog, farhatamin.com, and you can see the images, see the links. I'd love to hear your feedback. You can email me, info@farhatamin.com. That's the best way to get in touch. And please subscribe. I'll be doing another podcast very soon. Assalamu alaikum.